Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Kinana Zohambi Keselime with mention number 1171466. Okay, me and my friend, named Irshada, will explain about the game project that we implemented with Python, which is the name is Run and Jump Game. Firstly, I will tell about the summary of this game. Run and Jump or RNG game is a simple platform game developed and invented by us from the previous game such as Donkey Kong, Super Mario and Sonic Dash, which our game have only single player mode as to avoid from the enemies such as block, ghosts and lava. While in the same time, the character must collect the coins to get more power and 8 of power ups and complete the certain level. Then, what is a platform game? Platform game is a genre of video game. Platform gameplay is about jumping between platform or over obstacles. The player controls these jumps and must use skill to avoid their character falling off platform or missing jumps. Then, this RNG game is a single screen platform which game display each level as a single screen. These games have multiple levels, which becomes increasingly difficult as the player progresses. Next, RNG is game that intuitive and easy to get into. It is entertaining and challenging and make you want to try again until you pass the level. It is quick to play and it is very effortless to try again. Then the mechanic works well and the game seems mostly fair. The graphics are easy to read and there is a clear distinction between what is part of the level and what is background. Then the platform that we use is standard platform, which the character can easily jump from one platform to another platform to collect the coins and avoid from the enemies. These games allow the players to control the character movement by every push on the keyboard, such as the space keyboard from the jump and left and right keyboard for the character move easily in this game. Finally, when the character moves through the enemies, the character will die and the game will over and we have to restart the game again. Okay, we move into the problem statement of this game. Some of the platform game is action genre which have complicated and difficult level for player to complete it, such as Castlevania Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario Bros, which the player has to through the difficult levels and have to defeat the boss at the last level to win the overall of the game. Although these all genres can be said as adventurous and exciting games that many people play it, but some of them doesn't like the complicated and difficult games that make them to think and try harder to win the game, because the game itself aims to release pupil stress and can be relaxed when play the game. Then the coding itself that they use to create the game is more complicated and difficult to other people that not an expert in app and game development to discover and learn from it. It more mathematical and more difficult graphic design make people doesn't understand and difficult to learn without the expert guidance, although the game is interesting for other people to play the game. We move to the objective. So we have two objectives, which first, to invent and develop the new game with our own using Pygame packages in Python program language. And second, to apply the lessons that we learn in class such as sequential, the if, and else statement, Boolean expression, while statement defines functions and the others in the Python programming language. Then we move to the game controller logic topics, which we implement the game logic by using Python programming language, which the game logic controller should realize the function that indicates the updating of the location of the character from the keyboard, implement the game rule whether the game is over or not, computing how many coins the character got, and controlling the generation of sprites. For the submodule, first is game rules, which this is the core submodules of the game logic controller, which interface with all of the other submodules, instructing them to do based on the game rules. The rules are implemented by the update position of the character from the keyboard and the current position, which is the platformer and the coins. And then the second, the sprite generator, which have 5 points in it, which are platform, enemy, lava, coins, and exits. So firstly, for platform, the platform are submodules that we can create their position and we can make them move with our own, suitable with the levels for make the game more adventurous and interesting for player to play in. We can edit the position of the platform and the exit door in this game with the coding that we create specially for level editing, which when the level increase, the game will more difficult. Then, enemy. So, the enemy, which is blob and ghost, are placed statically on the platform where the character will throw it for make the game quite difficult. This enemy also we can edit it in the level coding, which they have only appeared when the level become more difficult. The character has to jump through enemy to get a coin or want to go to the unaided platform. Otherwise, the character will die and game will over when the character hit or walk through them. Next, lava. This lava is also same like the enemy before, which the character cannot hit or walk through it because it will make the character die and the game will over and the player had to restart the game again. And then for exit, when the character has been through all the obstacles like enemy and lava and have cleared all the coins in the level, this exit is the last place for character through it for end the level and move to another level. The game rules submodules have sent a signal for the game change to another level when the character have passes that exit. And lastly, for coin. Each time the character passes any of platform that have coins on it, the game rules submodule sends a signal to increase the score by 1 point. Since the score sprite is divided into 3 parts, digits, tens, and hundreds, we need to extract them from the score before sending them to the hardware. Next, we move to the game stuff preparation. The preparation required for the graphic design and also the level that have been thrown in this game, which the image files had to be searched online. And for the level editing, we have to edit and create it with our own to get the interesting and difficult level for some level in this game. Once we found the suitable and interesting images that can be used in this game, we have to edit them to fit into our game design. So firstly, I will explain about the image preparation. For this image preparation, we have to resize the image to the suitable size that we want for use in this game. Then we set the background with the image that we choose from online so that the sprite controller can easily recognize the background part. The code that we use is pygame.image module for load the image into Python with the coding itself to get the display of the image in the game window. And then this is the list of the images that we use and their pixels in this game. Okay, second is the level editing preparation. For this level editing preparation, we have to make the new coding special for every level that had in this game, which we can create and modify the level according to the level of difficulty at each of those levels. In this game, we create only until level 8 for player to win this game, but this level can be created to the 50 or 100 level depends on the coding of level editing. Then next is the overview of the level that we had created in this game. I will explain about the physics that we apply in this game. So, in this game, Pygame plays a crucial role in illustrating this game. Pygame is a chain wrapper around the SDL library, which consists of various top-level pieces like sprite, surface, font mixer, and others. Which of them are necessary and have their own function to create a complete full game. This figure show the example of sprite codes for enemy and platform in this game. From the figure shown, it shows that the coding for the class of enemy and platform which derive from pygame.sprite class. In this game, the enemy, platform, lava, coins, and exit are recognized into 3 class sprite. The sprite contains an image attribute that holds the image to be displayed on the game windows and rectangle attribute that contains the dimension of the sprite to be used for collision detection and motion. Now, it figure shown the force applied on the character, which the up arrow is for jump velocity, the right arrow is velocity of character, and the down arrow is the gravity. So from the figure above, we can observe that the forces applied on the character can be determined. So for the orange arrow represent the gravity forces, which G, that constantly acting on the character. It will be increasing the new variable which we can define as velocity V, which is a blue arrow. Then as the velocity increases, the character will walk on the platform by that velocity. While the red arrow represents jump, which J, which whenever we press the space keyboard, the character will jump from one platform to another and will get a temporary boost to its velocity to move up the way. Other than that, there were also the collision force when the character hit the enemies, lava, or exit from the level. Thus, we code the gravity, jump, and its collision for every hit separately. That will be going works together to create the natural motion of the character in this game. And next is the code that we use in this game for the gravity, jump, and collision of the player.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurnaili Irshada binti Zulkifli and my metric number is 1171467. In this video, I'm going to cover on the codes, on the output, on the limitation, and also I will brief a simple conclusion for this project. Okay, for this project, me and Akila, we are doing a game which is R J Game. So first, let's take a look on the codes and also on the output. So for the codes, we make it into two files, which is the main file and also the level editor file. For the level editor file, in this file, we use this code to design on and design the platforms for the game. So if you run the level editor file, so we will get this game window, and then if we load, we will get it will display the platform or the game design for the level 6, since we put on we define the variable for the level 6. Alright, and we can change and we can design this platform, and if we save, it will save on the file for this level. Okay, okay. If you see here, there is a level data for starting from 0 until 7. So for this game, we have a multiple level which is from 0 to 7. So let's take a look on the main file. So in this project, we use 3 modules, which is a Pygame, Pickle, and also OS. For the Pygame is a cross-platform set of Python modules designed for the writing video games, which include the computer graphic, the sound libraries designed to be used on the Python programming language. And Pickles is to save and also to load data in Python. And OS module contain function to get information on the local directories, files, process, and environment variables. And from the OS, we import the path, which this module implements some useful function on the path name. So from the Pygame, from the Pygame local we import star. This means that we import everything we need to start the game. Then we initialize the Pygame with pygame.init function. This is important because this is the basic start for the game to get the Pygame to start. And then we define the variable for this game window. For this game, I'm using the screen width and also screen height for both is 650 pixels, and we use the pygame.display.set mode to this function to display the screen game windows, and the caption we use is RNG. Right, and then for all games, every game needs some kinds of loop so that the game will constantly running until we close it. For that, we use the while loop. So we use the run condition true, so the game will keep running until we close it. So then we also need to add a way to close the game. So we use the event handler. We use the for event in pygame.event.get, and if the event.type is equal to pygame.quit, so we set the run into false so that we can stop the game. Okay, and for this code we also load some image to display on the games window, and we use the pygame.image.load function, and to display it on the games window we also need to use pygame.bleed function. So for this we use the screen.bleed screen.bleed, and the argument we put the picture itself and also the position for the image that we want to put on the display, and then we use pygame.display.update. This one is important because throughout the code we're gonna put a different bleed and draw function. So pygame.display.update function is essential. It tells the pygame to take all those things and update to display on the window, and we need to keep in mind the order is important. Okay, so what I mean by the order is that if we put the sun image above the background image, when we run the codes, it will not show the sun image because the background image will be on the front while the sun will be on the back of background image. Right, next we define a few game variables like the tile size, when the game is over, the main menu, the levels, the maximum level, and also the score. This variable will be used in every object that we put on this game, and the font variable, the color variable will be used in the draw text method. Alright, and the draw text method we use it to show that if we lose, we show that if we draw the text game over, and it will indicate the score that we get. The same goes if we finish the level, it will show you win, and the argument is our text, and then the font, the colors, and then the position we want to put the text on the display. And then The reset level method is when we finish a level and move to the next level, it will reset into a new level path. And if we lose, it will reset back on the origin game. For example, if we run this, okay, this is a level 1. It is simple. Okay, if we lose, if we restart back, it will start again. So if we say once again, with game over, we restart, the coin will be located at the original position. So the method for the reset level is important so that we can start over and the new game. Okay, and for this, as I mentioned early, we have another file which is the level editor. This after we edit or design the platform, we save it, and then to put it on the main file, we use the path method, path module. So to check if the path exists, we use the path exists to check whether the file is exists, and then we use the pickle in to open the file for the next level. Okay, this one will create the world data. Okay, so to organize this this file, we put all the object into the classes. So we have about 8 classes, which is the button classes, the player classes, and then the world classes. You see the world classes, the enemy classes, the platform classes, and lava classes, coin classes, and exit classes. And all these we use the pygame.sprite argument, and as we are using the sprite, so all the classes need to be in group. So we use the pygame.sprite.group group function. So this is the basis. The pygame.sprite is the simple base class for the visible game object. Okay, if we derive classes, we want to override, and then it will show on the game display. Right. For let's take a look on the classes for the player. So in here we have the handler animation, we have the controller. If we press the space key, it will jump. The player will jump, or if you click on the left, it will move to the left, and vice versa for the right. Okay, and then we have the gravity. We also have on the collision. The collision is when we collide with the platform. Let's see if the platform, so when on the x direction, if we collide it, it will stop our movement. Okay, if we collide on the lava, the game is over, because like the lava, the enemies is like our obstacles, right? So let's run this. So this is the game RNJ. This is the caption that we put for this game window. If we start, this is the level, the easiest level, level 1. Okay, and this is level 2. So let's try again. Okay, we move to level 3. So each level it will increase the hardness for this game. Okay. Oops. Right. And okay, that's it for that. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. So the limitation. Okay, from this game, is the limitation that we got is that we don't have the audio because I'm still new for these Python things. So when I put the audio, it will affect the codes. It will not show the scoreboards, and sometimes the player will the movement of the player is not smooth. So I didn't put the audio. And then if you can see after the level 7, it didn't show any, it didn't indicate that we won or we lose. It doesn't reset back to the original display. And the platform design is not very creative. I'm not very creative mine. And the synchronize between the loop is not smooth. I think it's maybe because of the code itself. There's a few error. And for the conclusion, okay, before that, the lesson that I learned is that I realized that keeping it simple is good. Having great core gameplay that is polished is very valuable. So sometimes when we intend to invent a cool new feature without realizing that they make the game unpleasantly complex and hard to approach. So if the core mechanic cannot stand on its own, then it is not much that the new feature can do to improve it. And for the conclusions, there are multiple methods way to create the platform games, and all have their own merits. There should have be a reason when using a certain method, and each aspect of the game should take into account on how well it suits the idea and the vision of the game. And for this game, for this project, we apply all the knowledge that we learned during the class session. And I think that's all. Thank you.